See, nowadays I'm lost between two shores. Sweden's fine, but it ain't home. Kurdistan's home, but it ain't mine no more. That's why I have to move. Breaking free from the matrix. Relocation to Jamaica. Is the matrix real? What if I told you that the life you're living isn't the only one? That you could actually break free from the noise and the expectations and from the so-called matrix and find your true self in what you define as your paradise? Well, that's exactly what led me to Jamaica. But first, let's break down what the matrix actually is. Definition of the matrix. The matrix system, also known as the Babylon, is a concept used to describe complex societal structures and control mechanisms. These systems are believed to hold individuals in a form of mental and social captivity, including aspects of economics, politics, and culture, portrayed as an invisible force that influences daily lives without being aware of it, preventing from achieving true freedom and insight. All my life, I have felt my soul yearning for something more. I have searched for a place where I can truly feel fully alive, where I can embrace nature and the simple life and feel like I belong. This is my story of awakening to my true self through life's challenges. From surviving to thriving, my addictions, the surgeries, the search for a new identity, my road to education, and breaking free from the system. You see, I grew up as an immigrant in Sweden because of war in my homeland, the mountains of Kurdistan, where my ancestors had lived for centuries before my parents had to relocate and start over from scratch with nothing. Growing up in a ghetto in a so-called white man's country, life was never really easy for us. We were treated like strangers and always felt the need to work harder than a Swedish person. As a result of that, I never really truly felt like Sweden was my home. Even though I had spent my whole life there, something was always missing. For too long, I felt like I was sleepwalking. My mind was foggy, my body was tired, and my soul just felt lost. It felt disconnected. From myself, from my truth, unconscious, just living in a world that didn't feel safe. It just didn't feel like home. About 22 years ago, I started my awakening journey, when I was 16 and my father had just passed. It was also at the same time that Spirit came to visit me through the herb, not as a party, but as a returning to my essence, reconnecting with my natural state, allowing me to journey inwards. And there it began, the unraveling. I slowly started to reject the system I was unconsciously molded into. I dropped out of high school and refused to be institutionalized. I was now starting to take charge of my own programming, as that would be the operative system from where I navigate life. As the years passed, it all became clearer. The entertainment industry, the institutions that the societal structure was built on, the politics, the misleading religions, the food industry, everything. It came to a point where it all just felt overwhelming. I felt a need to escape, leading me to indulging in addictions. Food, alcohol, and excessive use of the herb became my source to numb myself from what was my reality. When I turned 23, my addiction to food had come to a point where I was weighing over 260 pounds and my health was alarming. I decided to have a gastric bypass, not knowing then that it would change everything for me. That marked the beginning of a journey into severe health challenges, including 11 life and death surgeries. It's truly a miracle that I'm still alive today. I'll share the full story of this journey in a separate video. From my first gastric bypass in 2010 up until this day, how it has shaped my life, my health, and who I am today. Here are some before pictures. I must say that life has its ways though. As a wise man once said, you don't know why things are happening when they are. But eventually, looking back, you will be able to connect the dots and see the full picture and the meaning of each momentum. You see, my belief is that life doesn't happen to you, but for you. Defeating your challenges makes you grow. You can either let the challenge defeat you, or you take responsibility and decide to master it with full determination. If I fall 10 times, I make sure I get up 11. That has always been a motto for me. As I mentioned, I dropped out of high school when I was 16. I've never bowed to any authority besides my father and the source of creation. When Baba left flesh, there was no one leading me but my own inner voice. And that voice was rejecting all kinds of programming at that time, especially the one that was orchestrated by the system. You see, my character has always been very rebellious, independent, and stubborn, which are very useful traits when you use them wisely to your advantage. Back then, everyone thought I was lost, not knowing that that was the start of me actually finding my true self. I never worried much about my future because I was blessed with my voice. Growing up, all I ever did was sing and perform whenever I had the chance. I was certain that my voice would carry me, that I would make a living doing what I loved most. Little did I know, everything changed after my first surgery. Using my stomach as my source of strength for singing, I suddenly couldn't do it anymore, and with that, I lost a part of my identity. I mourned that loss deeply, but I also knew I had to take charge of my path and find a new way to make a living. When I was 23, I made the decision to go back to school and earn my degrees. This time, I approached it with a more conscious and selective mindset. Having graduated high school with straight A's, I then began my university journey. I dove deep into the field of psychology. Coming from a somewhat conscious background, I was fascinated to explore the mind, the psyche, and the intricate ways the soul intertwines with our being. It became an obsession to develop my own mind and to share the profound discoveries of introspection and self-leadership with my fellow beings. I began working at a high school for adults while taking 8 different courses in leadership, both inner leadership and guiding groups. I studied project management, team building, and even earned my certification as a CEO. I was on fire. As I was growing and expanding my knowing, my physical health was failing me big time. After my 7th surgery, the biggest and most painful one, I needed to take some time off. As a community developer in the field of education, fully dedicated with my heart and soul, I had a sincere passion to lead youth, knowing how vital, dependable, and strong role models are, because as a species, we learn by imitation. I felt the urge to return to teaching. I decided to initiate a youth community on my own terms. I called it Big Brother and Big Sister, guiding my fellow young brothers and sisters to lead conscious and healthy lives, encouraging them to tap into their strengths and passions, to explore making a living from what they love. 8 years ago, I reached what I call a zombie state. I was moving through life on autopilot, completely losing my sense of self. The doctors kept prescribing me higher and higher doses of what they call medication, what I see as society's downfall, a false numbness that masks the pain. The road to total destruction of body, mind, and soul, the complete disconnection from self. I was trapped in a destructive marriage that lasted 2 years. I had lost all zest for life. I decided to throw in the towel because nothing felt worth living for anymore, and the pain was simply too real. My partner and I decided to take a month-long vacation, hoping it might heal something, but the marriage was already falling apart. For me, I felt empty, sick, and lost. Yet I agreed to go on that trip. And that decision, my friends, changed everything. I had spent my entire life, 30 years by then, in cold Sweden, where the sun, the true source of life force energy, barely makes an appearance. What I didn't know then was that my DNA wasn't designed for that kind of life. This was my first time fully exposed to the sun gazing, barefoot, immersed in the Earth's electromagnetic field without interruption from synthetics. I was reconnecting to the Earth, bathing in the sea, and embracing all the healing powers it brings. My journey of healing was a holistic one, addressing my mind, body, and soul. And a truly significant piece of that puzzle was transforming what I put into my body. As we are what we eat, embracing a high vibrational plant-based organic diet became absolutely crucial for my physical recovery and deeply impacted my mental clarity and spiritual connection. I'll share more of that in a separate video. Beyond nourishing my body with an organic diet, another fundamental pillar of my healing journey has been my daily practice of what I call OBM, organic body movement. For me, it's about gently stretching and moving my body to truly awaken my cells and allow life force energy to flow freely. It's a vital start to every conscious day, and I'll be sharing how you can incorporate these essential movements into your own life in a separate video. These significant changes in my lifestyle resulted in not needing any pharmaceutical medication anymore. Nature had all the cure I needed. I felt alive again for the first time in many, many years. I got my life back. My health was completely recovered and I was no longer surviving but thriving. Even my hair transformed from stop using toxic shampoos and conditioners, spending hours in the salty seawater and exposed to the sun for hours every day, only applying coconut oil and fresh aloe vera. It shifted from brown to golden, naturally. The month had passed and I was now faced with a decision: to go back to what made me sick or to find a way to continue this journey of healing I had found. I had now been what I call kissed by the sun and couldn't look back. I chose to take the leap. I left not only my home, but also my old identity. I left my job, my marriage, and everything that felt safe then. I set out on a journey towards inner freedom and what came to be the reconnection of my mind, body, and soul through natural methods. My journey of awakening truly began by looking at all the conditioning I carried, especially growing up as an immigrant in Sweden, navigating so many different cultures and belief systems. This profound experience even led me to write a book called 31 Years and 13 Religions, The Reflection, where I explore how I came to the conclusion that love, respect, and morals are universal, transcending any single belief system. And I'll be sharing a sneak peek of this book in an upcoming video. The shift. What happens when you follow your bliss? These past 8 years, I've been on an international journey, searching for a place under the sun that I can truly call my home. The first year felt like dancing on roses. Everything flowed effortlessly. I felt free, more alive and physically stronger than ever before. But I didn't know then that this journey would soon ask more of me, that it would guide me inward to take the next step in my awakening. A deep descent into myself began. A journey into the layers I had buried, old traumas, false identities, and the weight of limiting beliefs. The so-called ego death had begun. And for those who haven't met this stage, it's the dark night. The sacred unraveling. It's where everything hidden rises to the surface, not to break you, but to free you, to face what hurts, and to feel what was never felt. And to remember who you truly are beneath it all. A being of light, pure, radiant, ready to shine like the star you were always meant to be. Those 7 years became the most challenging and most transformative of my life. And all of this inner transformation, this unraveling was happening while I was still on the road, searching for my new home across the world. There were multiple visits to the different Canary Islands. A full year in Costa Rica. Brief but beautiful stops in Nicaragua and El Salvador. 9 months in Zanzibar. 6 months in Mexico. 8 months in Sri Lanka. Each place gifted me something, a lesson, a reflection, a piece of the puzzle I was slowly putting together. And then there was the gem, the place that kept calling my soul in. I returned 5 times, spending almost 3 years in total, and each time it pulled me back in deeper, stronger, and softer. Looking back now, I see how every piece of that puzzle fits. Every place, every moment, every lesson was leading me here. This was never just a random location on the map. It was divinely guided, chosen for me this lifetime. This is my new home. I visited and lived in 34 different countries, and now my soul has finally found home. And this magical place I'm speaking of is, of course, the love of my life, Jamaica. Where Atameni, one people, is more than just a motto to me. It's a living truth, one I felt in my heart. As a Kurdish woman, born from a people whose homeland, Kurdistan, has been divided, silenced, and oppressed for generations, a people who have fought endlessly for our land, our rights, and our freedom, Jamaica welcomed me. It embraced me not in spite of my background, but because of it. And in that welcome, I found something I had been searching for all along. Recognition, connection, and belonging. Here, I'm not just seen, I'm felt, and that, to me, is home. In time, I began to realize that the Kurdish people and the Maroons share more in common than I first imagined. Learning about Nanny of the Maroons and Marcus Garvey ignited something in me. A light, a purpose, a deep dedication to contribute. Their legacies awakened my calling to use my own skill set to uplift and empower communities in Jamaica. The stories of the Jamaican people, their resistance, their pride, and their fight for freedom speak directly to my rebellious spirit. It's as if our struggles have met before, and now they rise together through me. The story behind my pull to Jamaica is long and juicy, full of many details, and I'll share the full version in a separate video. But for now, here's a glimpse. My manifestation began unconsciously 28 years ago, when as a 4th grader, I drew Jamaica's and the Rasta flag on the front page of my notebook. I used that notebook every single day for a whole year. And for those familiar with the universal laws of visualization, attraction, and creation, y'all know this is where my Jamaican story began to take physical form. Jamaica is where I found my true spark again. After setting aside my music and singing for 8 years, I realized that this was the missing piece, the part of me that I needed to feel whole. Having grown up on stage, being forced to put it aside because of my health broke me. I completely lost my sense of identity. What I didn't realize then was that Source was preparing me for my life's true calling. I needed to step away from music for a time. Otherwise, I might never have returned to educate myself, gaining the knowledge and wisdom I carry today. Now, I'm equipped and ready to lead and empower communities. The Great Escape, finding my bliss in Jamaica and aligning with my true north. A few things stood out that became the great pull to Jamaica. The very first was my music. I finally found my spark again. My voice rekindled, and Jamaica became the birthplace of my very first song, Love is the Answer, inspired by and dedicated to the Jamaican spirit. The other profound reason for answering this calling is that my role as a community developer became clear. It is with deep respect that I speak her name, Nanny of the Maroons. Her courage, vision, and devotion to freedom have been a profound inspiration to me. A fierce guide and light bearer for freedom. A woman who continued to powerfully inspire my path as a true role model. In her footsteps, I found clarity. I found purpose. I found a path and a deep call to serve. It's especially meaningful for me to look to other women who are rooted in strength, spirit, and the values I hold dear. It's a sacred honor for me to have learned about her and to walk the land where she stood and claimed rights for collective freedom and dignity. Her legacy shows me what's possible. She's truly a spiritual compass for me. Beyond my personal journey as a community developer, I carry a deep aspiration to share my skills in education and leadership, the arts, and holistic health with the people of Jamaica. During my time here, I've had the honor of visiting schools, churches, and meeting with other community leaders. Each connection has deepened my respect for the spirit of this land, for the strength, wisdom, and the heart of the Jamaican people. I look forward to walking beside that spirit. To co-create, to uplift, and to be part of a movement toward an empowered, thriving Jamaica. My calling to Jamaica is not just for its sun and beautiful nature, but for its culture, its spirituality, the people, and the energy that pulsates through the island. This is more than relocation. It's commitment. It's collaboration. This is more than just a move. It's a new beginning, surrounded by beautiful, vibrant nature and people who share my vision of freedom and inner healing. I've been waiting for this moment for a long time, and now I'm ready to take that leap. Jamaica is my new home, where I'm truly going to live life to the fullest. So why am I taking action now? Well, let me tell you about the signs. Spirit has been knocking on my door for a while now. asking me to start sharing my journey. I tried to ignore the calls, but recently they became impossible to overlook. So the other day, after my daily OBM practice and meditation on the map, I asked for a clear sign. Later that day, as I went about my errands, signs appeared everywhere. In Swedish and English, on buses, trains, trucks outside my house, even on a man's t-shirt on the train. And their words echoed loudly. Här för att röra till det, för en upplyst framtid, forward as one, union power, sluta drömma, starta ditt projekt och känn dig som barn på nytt. Translates to, here to steer it up for an enlightened future, forward as one, union power, stop dreaming and start your project and feel like a child again. It felt like Spirit was answering me, a clear call to stop waiting and begin sharing my journey. Here are the originals, signs on buses and trains, a truck outside my house, and a guy's t-shirt. You've just seen a glimpse of how the universe speaks to me. These moments, these signs, they're not just beautiful coincidences. For me, they're a part of a living conversation. Ever since I can remember, I've experienced the world as a web of connections. A song lyric, a word on a billboard, a glance from a stranger. These things don't just pass me by, they ignite something in me. My mind doesn't just hear, it listens. It bends, twists, stretches meaning. Sounds open doors I didn't know existed. This isn't about superstition. It's about synchronicity and alignment. A hidden thread that ties everything together. So that's why I'm here. Why I'm posting this now. Not because everything is perfect, but because the signs told me I was ready. It was obvious. No more postponing. No more blaming my bad production tools for the delay. This project is brand new to me, and honestly, I'm super nervous, but I'm doing it anyway. So please bear with me with my amateur editing skills and my not so great sound quality. For now, I'm just using my phone, but I promise when the opportunity comes, I'll upgrade to better equipment. I love good quality in everything. So that will definitely be a priority for the upcoming videos. Until then, this is as good as it gets. So my darlings, if you're still with me, I just want to say thank you for listening to my story, and I welcome you to join me on this journey as I will be unraveling it all. My experiences, my thoughts, my music, my food and drink recipes, my mental and physical exercises, my relocation to Jamaica, where I will be reconnecting with nature and co-creating communities. It's all gonna be here. I hope I'll catch you in the next video. Stay blessed. I love you. And remember, your soul brought a plan. The forgetting is only temporary, and awakening is remembering that plan. Thank you for watching with sprinkles of light.